enjoy this. Yes. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and welcome back once again to the channel with me, Disco, coming at you with another live beer video from in front of the cans and bottles here on the bar. I'm still naming the Disco Arms. And talking about names, as you can see from the banner and the title, today's beers theme that I'm running with are all about names. Happened to look into the beer stash this morning to see 3 beers. Well, I took a bit of searching, to be fair, but 3 beers with people's names in. It's the only ones I could find. So I thought they look all right. They look good. I bought them because I wanted to drink them. A couple are not massively recent, to be fair, like yesterday's beers. And one might even be fairly out of date, but we'll do it anyway because it fits in with the theme. Even though there may or may not be anybody popping in to watch, because apparently there's some footing ball or something going on, and there's probably still some fireworks knocking about. Apologies once again for starting the stream stupendously late. It's a usual thing with a disco stream. Not down to technology this time, but mostly down to the fact that I nipped up to the pub this evening. Ended up staying for a couple. Little micro bar down the road I've talked about before, and will again possibly as early as tomorrow. If I do a stream tomorrow, I'm not sure. We shall see. But yeah, got back a little bit late, had a bit of food, and then realised I was running very, very late. Like I say, if there's nobody here to watch, I'm just going to drink 3 beers already. So I'm going to drink 3 beers anyway, because I've had a couple already. And if you're watching this after the event, please stick around. Thank you very much indeed. If you're looking in and I've got past all that massive introduction, do let me know what you think about the introduction. I'm very keen to get feedback. Do you like the introduction? Does it matter, or do you just fast forward it? In fact, do you fast forward all the waffle and just look at the beers? Because that's what I do with a lot of streams. Because that's how it works. It's YouTube, isn't it? But yeah, if you are watching along, hope you're watching along with a beer, unless it's 7 o'clock in the morning. It's not compulsory. It's not compulsory to watch, as I keep putting in the titles. But anyway, here we go. We are live now, and so let's crack on. Let's go straight into a beer number 1, please. A traditional place to start. And with beer number 1, here's Johnny. Yeah, this beer is called Here's Johnny. It's from Brew York. Let's get the banner up. Yeah, a 5% cherry guava marshmallow pastry sour. I think I put that as stout, which is a cross between sour and stout, which nobody wants to drink, to be fair. So let's just change that one to an R. See, technical difficulties as always. Yeah, a marshmallow pastry stout. This has been sitting in the stash for a while. I'm not quite sure where I picked it up from, to be honest. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. It's been a while, and I don't think I put it on a... It wasn't in a box. I think I picked it up from one of my locals. Funnily enough, it was either the Hopper Vine, more about them later, in Ruislip, or could have been the Dodo in Hanwell, you know. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, it's a sour. So let's see how we get on. Let's crack it into a glass. Obviously, I like the fact that it's cherry. Guava, I'm mostly on the fence by. Marshmallow, all good. Had a bit of marshmallow yesterday. Thanks for watching that stream. If you watched it back as well after the event, please click like and subscribe and all that jazz. But here we go. Yeah, cherry guava, marshmallow pastry sour. Bubbles into the glass. I think I've overdone the pour on that one, so it's going to go straight in. Mild head development. I don't expect that to stick around, though, being a fairly light stout. I'm going to do the photograph, even though I've got nobody to remind me. I've done it enough now that I should remember. So it's coming in now, and I'm not on screen. That's why I'm doing the photograph. Forgot to do the can balance with this one. Never mind. Somebody remind me later to do the can balance on the next ones. If you could, that'd be lovely. Put the screen down because there's a lovely red colour in the glass there, as you probably would expect for a cherry sour. Not too bad. If it's in focus, that red on black is fairly difficult to focus on for the camera, but let's do another one. Oh yeah, if you zoom in you can read it, so that's close enough focus for my liking. Yeah, so lovely red colour, even brighter, more kind of scarlet kind of red in front of the light. Still no one there, no worries. I'm talking to myself, having said yesterday about feeling awkward talking to myself. This is exactly what I'm going to do today by the looks of it. Not a problem, not compulsory. If you're watching long after the event, thank you very much indeed. Oh, what am I? Oops, pressed the wrong button there. Yeah, so lovely bright red colour. The head has dissipated fairly quickly. Let's have a little nose. I'm expecting lots of fruit on this one. Yeah, you're fairly standard, fruity sour. Nothing specific on the nose, and maybe a bit of cherry there, perhaps. But yeah, smell a bit of Brettanomyces kind of funk going on, but not much fruitiness. Let's chuck it down my neck and see what we get. Cheers and enjoy the beers. Wow. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Amuse beers, thanks for tuning in, doing two things at once. Even though blokes can't do that, but well done, sir. Listening and driving. No problem. I hope you're driving home for a beer. Again, it's not compulsory. I'm doing the beers tonight if nobody else is. Yeah. Definitely a bit of cherry going on there. Still not sure about the guava. The guava kind of, I think, hints to kind of that tart sourness going on. Definitely a lot of pastry. There's a lot of kind of almondy, marzipan kind of pastry note going on around the back once you get through the sour and the fruit. I say cherry because I've read it on the can, and it's not fresh cherry, but it's also not sour cherry. There's a little bit of glacier cherry going on there for me because it's quite a good sweetness in and amongst that tart. Again, I like to have the camera just on the edge there by the disco, so in case anybody notices. So yeah, that's better. Yeah, so yeah, Brew York, obviously fairly well-known brewery. I can imagine Brew York. I don't have too much of their stuff, not for any particular reason. Just like I said yesterday about there being so many breweries, it's hard to pick all of them. And I've sort of not diverged, but recently kind of gone towards the smaller guys. And I think Brew York are now at that stage where they've got massive tanks, so they're producing a lot. They're in supermarkets. That's not a reason to hate or avoid them. I just don't really get a chance. So I tend to go for the smaller breweries. Like I say, I picked this one up a while back. Can't remember where. I don't think it's on the grid on Instagram. I'm going to dive straight in and have a look at it. It's 5%. See what they say. Yeah, cherry and guava, marshmallow sour, tropical berry vanilla. Well, that's the kind of pastry note. This is this Halloween. Now, I didn't pick it up very close to Halloween. This has been sitting in my stash for a few weeks, if not months. So I suspect this might be for last year's Halloween. So when I get down to the date, and how appropriate talking about dates, Shark always likes to mention about me doing out-of-date beers. But cheers, Shark. Thanks for popping in. Hope you're doing all right. Yeah, so the fact this is this Halloween, it doesn't taste like a year-old beer, to be fair. It's still proper fresh and fruity. But it does say this Halloween, and it's another beer. Therefore, as I said yesterday, like the Witches one yesterday, I should have left for Halloween, but I don't do things like that traditional. Just drink the beers I want to drink. This Halloween, we're celebrating 3 iconic horror films from the 1980s with a trio of terrifying, delicious brews. Enter Here's Johnny, a marshmallow pastry sour that delivers a devilishly delightful blend of juicy fruit and velvety vanilla. One sip and you'll understand why someone might say I'd give my goddamn soul for just a glass of beer. Now, being not a big film fan, I'm not entirely sure what film that relates to. When you say Johnny in films, I think of Johnny Number 5 and Short Circuit, but that's not really a horror film, so I have no idea what they're going on about. I'm sure you'll tell me in the comments. Be sure to explore the rest of our haunting Halloween collection. It's showtime and only noodles, Michael. Don't we know what they are either. Love the spider diagrams on Brew York cans that give hints towards the flavour profile going on in the beers. See what we get. Obviously, fruit is very high up there. I'd put more on mouthfeel. Mouthfeel was only 2 out of 4. They don't have one for sour, so I'm not sure. See what it says. I'm looking for the horrid or dreaded natural flavourings on the ingredients. Let's see. Barley oats, wheat, lactose, maltodextrin, guava, cherries, hops, vanilla. Natural flavourings. It's one of the reasons why maybe surreptitiously I don't necessarily gravitate towards Brew York anymore. I've had a couple, and I think I had one a few weeks back, not Brew York, but some of us is natural flavourings. Well, if they're natural, tell me what they naturally are. Don't just say naturally flavourings. That's a cop out. But there you go. I like when breweries add more. Yeah, I do as well. I think it's good. It's helpful to know, especially put the hops on there because we want to know what the hops are. Helps learn and develop. But when you put natural flavourings, what does that mean? You know, it could be anything. What are those natural flavourings? That's what I want to know. I can't. I mean, to be fair, if it's unnatural flavourings, I wouldn't necessarily say. It just will taste a bit like fruit to me. Vanilla is one I very rarely get in beers anyway. More about that later. But yeah, there's definitely a kind of marzipan-y pastry note going on, which sometimes can be an off flavour. For me, I don't mind because it's a pastry sour. Yeah. Guava, I don't quite get necessarily. I've never eaten a guava as far as I know. I know it used to be in a bongo, so I'm quite sure I have drunk it at some point. But yeah, definitely a kind of light glacier cherry note. Very drinkable, a little bit too sour for my liking. A little bit too much wincing going on. Can't see if you're listening, but yeah, there's definitely hitting the sour notes, which is fine. A lot of people like that. I'm more about that sweetness and the fruitiness, so fruit sweetness. You can tell there's a bit of lactose in it as well. Give that additional sweet, not quite custardy. It's not quite custard. It's definitely more. Yeah, for me, it's definitely more marzipan, almond kind of thing, and even lactose. Not a lot of custard going on. It's okay though. It's perfectly, a good vitamin C hit, a good fruitiness. I just don't, don't get masses of cherry. It's sort of, tell you what it is. Yeah, it's cherryade. That's what it is. Cherryade, cherry 7-Up almost going on, which I'm guessing is probably a whole bunch of natural sweeteners or natural flavourings, probably some unnatural ones as well. So yeah, that's where that cherry flavour's coming from. Obviously, being a sour, there's a certain amount of acidity and the tartness of the fruit going on as well. It's not terrible. Let's have a look. How long have I had it sitting in the stash? Here we are, it's on the bottom. So the date is the 6th of July 25, so a little bit out of date. That would make sense. It was for last Halloween. Can't remember when I picked it up. It must have been before the summer, I guess. Can't even tell you where. Yeah, I don't think it suffered for that particularly. Sitting in my stash all summer. Vanessa Key, hi, how you doing? Thanks for popping in. How you doing? All right, having a good week. Nice little cherry sour going on here. yeah, it still feels fresh enough as a beer. Still got plenty of flavours going on. It doesn't feel like there's any loss of flavourings, natural or otherwise. Yeah, it's just one that it's sort of sat in my stash, and because I try not to do too many sours, and I've probably got too many sours sitting in the stash. It's one I thought, well, I need to get out soon, and because I saw the name, it's been sitting in front of the stash for a while, and I saw the name, and then I managed to find a couple of others. I thought, well, let's do it now. It's kind of good. I always say about sours, a good vitamin C hit in a kind of mid-session, and the fact I happened to nip over to my local micro pub earlier on this evening means I've had a couple, well, maybe three. So this is effectively a mid-session because I nipped out, picked up some food on the way home, cycled to the pub, so I had to take it easy. And yeah, got back, banged down some food, and now this is a mid-session kind of livener. I love that vitamin C kind of hit from a fruited beer or fruited sour, which kind of does the job. So yeah. I find sours much harder to knock back like I did with all the beers yesterday. They were pretty damn sessionable, to be honest. Yeah, I could have stayed in the pub quite easily because there's plenty of decent beers on. Instead, I come back to do this because I said I was going to. I picked up some cans, local micro pub, got a couple of fridges. I'm not interested in asking the price. I just see the cans. I'm like, yeah, I'll pick some up, support your locals. And some interesting beers, maybe. Some interesting beers that you probably wouldn't expect me to have because I picked up some Sure Shot. Now, I could get Sure Shot quite easily from Trembling Madness, and in fact, I placed a Trembling Madness order this morning, which should be arriving tomorrow with some stuff. I don't need another 6 cans, but I bought them anyway because they fit in with a little theme I was developing. Whether that works out or not, I don't know. But yeah, Sure Shot. So this one picked up is called You're Fond of Me Lobster, Ain't You? And it's a 4.5% porter. Now, I normally associate Sure Shot with your kind of hoppier IPAs, double IPAs, and stuff like that. So to see a porter from them, I think I'm going to have that. I'll give that a go, see what they do. Hopefully, get to drink it. It's still cold straight out of the fridge. And not only that, I've got another Sure Shot beer. I like bright cans. Can art kind of attracts me to a beer. Certainly, I wanted to try Sure Shot and a porter. And yeah, I just kind of like bright colours, funny beer names. And to be fair, I like the labels on Sure Shot. This is called Too Busy Looking Good. And despite that fact, it's a New England IPA. I bought it on the name alone in the can. So it's a 6%. New England IPA. Sure Shockerton Martial Arts is a collab, I think. With them, yeah. So 2 Sure Shots. Look at me buying Sure Shot, despite what I said yesterday about your tracks and your Deas and your Cloud Waters, which I kind of put Sure Shot into that a little bit. They're kind of a little bit hype, a little bit trendy, a little bit hoppy IPAs. And yeah, despite the fact it's a New England, it's not my favourite style. I'll give it a go. Haven't looked at the details. There's some good information on the back there. I haven't looked at it. I've just bought it out of the fridge for the front of the cans and the colours. And you've got to try these things now and again, as I say. The other can I got was this one from Otherworld up in Glasgow. It's called Lords of Summer, and it's a 5%, no, a 6.2% coconut IPA. Look at me trying coconut again. Now, the reason I got this can is because I actually had a pint of this afternoon at Hop and Vine. A very nice little beer, nice and tropical. Still didn't get that much coconut, but plenty of tropical flavours, bit of pineapple, stuff like that. So one of these beers, if I get around to doing the photograph and the thumbnail tomorrow morning, I'll do tomorrow on tomorrow's stream if I get out of work in time. I'll put it up. Might get cancelled depending on work. I'm not sure if I'm brewing or not tomorrow. I'll find out when I get in. So it might overrun a bit. But I've got a couple of other cans from local sort of bottle shops that I've picked up recently. So I thought I'd do some recent beers for a change. And yeah, get something a bit different, something a bit interesting. I know that would make it 3 streams in a week, and I'm planning one for Thursday, but that's just making up for the fact I haven't been doing a lot recently. I need to get through beers, and I'm still buying more. So let me know if you're listening in the comments below. Which of these beers do you want to see me drink tomorrow? I want to do this one because I had a pint of it today. So whether I get any votes, I should put a poll up or something. But yeah, do let me know in the comments. Should I do the other world, or should I maybe do one of the sure shots if I get a stream together tomorrow? Tap your answers on a postcard, not on a postcard, in the comments. Let's see what you want me to drink. I mean, I'm happy to drink any of those, to be fair, possibly except the New England, but we'll see what hop profile that contains. But yeah, I've got a couple of other beers picked up from local bottle shops, and yet, still this morning, I couldn't help myself. I put an order in at Tremble and Madness for another 6 beers, just purely specific ones that fit in with themes I've got. And yet, I don't need any more beer, but I couldn't help myself. I put another little 6-pack order in. It's not the most cost-efficient way of doing it, and I probably could have got. No, I didn't. No, there's only one of the beers I could possibly have got elsewhere. But I had that Trembling Madness order sitting there, and I could see beers dropping off it. I put some in the basket, and it stays in the basket. And then once it goes out of stock, they'll take it out. So as of this morning, as of yesterday, I had 6 in. This morning, I had 4. So I missed out on a couple. So I put a couple of others in that I've got themes for, despite the fact I've got far too much beer. And then this morning, I thought, let's for something totally different. On the back of what I said yesterday about looking at the smaller breweries and the smaller guys, I put an order in for a bottle shop down in Cornwall called Red Elephant. Don't know if you've ever heard of them or seen them or whatever. They're down in is it Truro or Red Roof? Truro, I think. Capital city of Cornwall. So I thought I'd have a look at some Cornish beers. Now, obviously, there's Verdant. I've got plenty of Verdant on. I kind of mostly avoided Verdant, apart from one, because I don't really drink Verdant. But yeah, there was a shark beer, so I thought, well, I'll get that. So I got some other really small breweries, and the only reason I got it because there was one particular brewery that I'd never heard of. Had done a collab with a brewery I really liked, and it was a pretzel stout, smoky pretzel stout. So I thought I'll have a look at that. That sounds a bit of me and also a bit different. So yeah, I never heard of Red Elephant. Not a massive selection, to be fair, and a fair amount of Cornish beers, which is fine. So I all that way, I want to be ordering locals down there. Really, I don't want to be ordering like stuff I could kind of get elsewhere and stuff that's travelled a lot. So yeah, some interesting stuff, some unusual stuff. But we'll deal with that tomorrow if and when it gets here. I think it should be delivered. I'm a bit worried it's coming on UPS, which is not my favourite after the trouble I had last week with FedEx. FedEx and UPS, not my favourite. So I don't think that's a Trembling Madness because they use Royal Mail parcels. So yeah, we'll see what turns up tomorrow. See whether I get a chance to actually put a stream up and out and get back here in time for it. If not, I'm vaguely planning to do one on Thursday prior to the football. Football kicks off at 8 o'clock, so if I can get a stream away about 6, if I can get out of work early-ish, that should be a couple of beers I've got in mind. And again, a couple that arrive in tomorrow. Nice pastry development on that. It's getting sort of thicker and chunkier. Yeah, I kind of like that marzipan pastry kind of flavour going on. There you go. Great Cornish breweries that are not Verdant are Breslau Beer and Blunt Rock. Well, funnily enough, is it 1 or 2 Breslau beers I did actually put on that order? I think there's a Blunt Rock on there, and some Fire something as well. Trembling Madness use APC. Oh, okay, I'm sure it's APC and possibly Royal Mail. I know they flipped between the two quite a lot. Fire, what's it called? It's not blunt. I think I've got a blunt rock one. I think I've got a fire something one as well. Yeah, I got a couple of Brasley beer. Firebrand is the one I'm thinking of. I got a Padstow beer and one from Cold Frame, who I've never heard of, and one I was thinking of was Mason Brewing, which is a collab with Steam Town in Southampton, and that's kind of why I bought it really, because it's smoked pretzel stout. So yeah, some interesting, something different, and apart from Mersey beer, something probably not many people have heard of. But yeah, Brasley, I have to admit, I never heard of Brasley beers. So I'd be interested in looking into their stuff. Yeah, Pipeline's one I really want to get to. I've got a couple of Pipeline beers in from Trembling actually, and I was looking at them today. So I didn't get any more Pipeline. I kind of kept it down to 6 or 7. But Pipeline is one I'll get into at some point. Bear with me a second. No, kitty. Jesus. How quick did you want to do that, miss? You little acrobat. You little ninja kitty. Yeah, you little ninja kids. Look out. Good girl. Go on then. Did you see that? I barely got up and she's diving onto the chair. Bless her. She's been fed and now she wants a kip. Wait. Bless her little cat paws. Right. I like this. It's nice, some good fruit, but I'm not quite sure about that natural flavouring. Not quite sure about the cherry note. It's kind of, it's like sherbety, sherbet pips if they did a cherry version of that. It's okay. It's a good little refresher. Don't really want more than 2/3 of it. Kitty, wait. Bear me a second. She's being a dick. No, it's not yours, is it? Yes, yes, I can see. Good girl. Well done. Good. Sorry about that. It's a lovely cat, but if she could just bear with us for like 1 hour whilst I have some beer, so you can do some cuddles and laps later. Yeah, sorry, just making sure the cat. I don't know if you saw, I got up and she jumped straight into the chair because it was nice and warm, and she fancied a snooze. But she's going to go and sit in the garden instead for a bit. I'll speak to her in a bit. So yeah, I quite like that. I'm going to put that down and finish it off later. Not because it's a bad beer, just I do sometimes struggle a bit with sours, which is going to make the next one a bit interesting. Because for beer number 2, not only have I got a sour, it's a sour, and it's a big sour. So being on beer number 2, check this out, and I'm really not sure about this one. It's called Reflections After Jane. It's from Pomona Island, and it's a collab with Tuol in Denmark, who are fairly well known for big mouth-puckering mental beers on the whole. As well, to a certain extent, Pomona Island. And I don't go to Pomona Island much, but I had a beer with Disco in the name over the summer, so I picked a couple of, again, small pack, 6-pack, and popped a couple of other ones, and I sat this one in the stash. I realised this morning it's got the name Jane in it, so to do with names, it fitted right in. It is a Yuzu and strawberry sour double IPA. Now, normally I wouldn't have anything to do with sour IPAs. I've tried a couple, and it's just, yeah, not really my thing. But any more than a sour double IPA is. But that strawberry and the yuzu thing makes it feel like it's a sour beer at double IPA strength, and it's probably got a few hops in as well. So just to make the weight on the order from Pomona Island, and I only got 6, and there's about 6 that I didn't get. I had to choose between the ones I didn't want. I didn't really need them at the time, but yeah, I thought this would be interesting, so I thought we'd have a look at it. Let's get into a glass and find out. At 8%, I might struggle a little bit with this one as well. I don't even know what colour this is going to be. I'm assuming it's another red one with that strawberry in, but yeah, what do we think? Yes, it is. Yeah, nice strawberry red colour. Quite light. Looks very similar to the previous one. It looks like a bit of pastry. Let's see, can we do the can balance on this one? I think this can is going to be a pain to photograph because of the white, but at least it balances well. There we go. Yeah, very murky kind of red in that glass now. It's not necessarily a problem. But there we go. See if it'll focus. Come on. Yeah, not unexpectedly, that head development dissipating fairly quickly. See if it's in focus. If it is, we're all good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Got that kind of interesting artwork. Well, see, it's meant to be a newspaper, but with the O of Pomona Island logo and the O of Tool. I thought it was a cassette off from the 80s. Remember them? But yeah, no. So, yeah, lovely colour. Looks better to the naked eye than it does maybe on the screen. Yeah, Yuzu is another one I find an interesting flavour, but you don't see a lot. I'm curious what hop. Yes, I think it's going to be. I mean, with straw, I can smell a bit of strawberry there. I'm sure it's wafting over, but do you really need hops in a sour, a fruited sour? So if it's got yuzu and strawberry in it, there is a hop that comes across as dank strawberry. We had it a few weeks back, and I can't particularly remember what the beer is. Yeah, so possibly a mistake to go in with 2 sour beers, but I can still taste the fruit on the previous one. So let's have a look at this. Yeah, very strong fruit note, definitely strawberry. Yeah, strawberry kind of orange as well going on. So yeah, keen to get into one. Cheers. Let's see what we get. Oh, that's going to be a struggle. It's not a bad beer. It's very similar to the previous one, to be fair. Just an assault on the senses and the taste buds of fruit. Definitely strawberry in there. And then kind of, yeah, There's a little bit of Robinson's barley water. I say that quite a lot, where some beers kind of got that kind of slightly weaker frame. So it's not a pastry sour like the previous one. I think I preferred the Here's Johnny, to be honest. It's a confusing one because I don't know where that 8% is. I already feel like I'm getting a bit of indigestion off it. Usually hops in sour IPAs are old hops, really. Oh, yeah. I guess I can see why we don't need so much pungency in hops, but then why bother at all? Or just using up hops. I'm going to dive straight in and find out what it's all about if I can. A Yuzu and strawberry sour double IPA this morning, touched with a hint of lactose and the rain. I have a feeling I'm not going to get any more info than that. Brewed in collaboration with Tuol. I'm gonna. Yeah, it's not going to say, is it? I'm going to have to go hunting. I think it's going to take me longer. Yeah, no, it just says barley, oats, wheat, lactose. Doesn't say the hops. Maybe there aren't any. That's why would it be a double IPA without hops? The hop that produces the most strawberry flavour is Baton Rouge. Okay, fair play. I was thinking of something else. I had something the other day that was dank strawberry. It might be here. Good evening, Paul. Thanks for popping in. Hope you're having a good one. Friday night, yeah, possibly. I'm actually working Friday, so I'll be on the bar. But if I get away in a good time, yeah, I'll join in for that. That should be okay. Yeah, let me know. Yeah, I'll try and do that as long as I get away from the bar on time. We finish early, so it wouldn't be a problem. Yeah, no, cheers for that, Paul. I found a can there this morning whilst I was sorting through for getting these beers out. So yeah, I'll have a look at that. That'd be grand. Yeah, I got this madness to get through. I think I'm going to struggle with this one, to be honest, which is not helpful because I've got a stout coming up, so I want to get these finished before, so I don't want to go back. Oh, there we go. Panic at the disco. Forgot to plug the laptop in again. Let's get that before the stream disappears down a hole in the middle. There we go. My fucking nose. Fuck. Barbie Rouge. Well, let's have a look, shall we? See what we can find. Oh, excuse me. There we go. Pomona. I doubt it's still on at Pomona Island. There we go. Reflections after June. So Untapped says 3.9 out of 5. Not that. Fuck off. Still a few about, so maybe it is. Let's have a look at Pomona Island, see if it's still on there. I can't remember if Pomona Island do more info on their website. Let's have a look. So I've had a couple out of Pomona Island over the years. I think the last time I had one, we looked at that as well. These bottles, I'm very tempted, but neither have the money nor the inclination to get a load of 750 bottles in. Yeah, really good, basic but standout can wraps. Nice little bit of artwork. Beer names, a bit too long to hashtag, but kind of fun. Hottest trike in town. Yeah, no, these are all new ones. To me, it's like muskrat love. Mango guava, passion fruit, and apple sour. Yeah, they're all good with their big beers. Lots of hops. They chuck at beers and also quite a lot of adjuncts when they do adjuncted beers. Kathleen Turner Overdrive, Raspberry Grace. It's a fantastic beer name. There's the one I had recently, Never Dug Disco. Done that one. I did that one in August, I think it was. So that's when I last did that. I've seen a couple of good reviews recently of All Kiss Curls and Cowlicks IPA. I didn't particularly listen to them, but I'm generally heard good things. What seems to be your boggle there on the right hand side, the Imperial Chocolate Cinnamon and Vanilla Stout, that's in the stash. That was under consideration. We'll get around to that soon because I like the sound of that, even at 10%. So, yeah, no, this one's not in there. They do. No, they don't. That's a shame. Oh, there we go. According to Iberia, a dry hop edition of Citra and Eldorado. See, that's just on that description, so I don't know if that's right or not. It's Wednesday, 16th and 10th. Can't be oldie. What? Oh, that was last year. So this is a last year beer, is it? Let's have a look. Once again. Oh, yes, best before the 15th of the 10th, 2025. So I'm kind of glad I've got it out, really, to be fair. Eldorado does have strawberry characteristics. It's one of those where, I don't know, yeah, never really get it, to be fair. I don't know that much about Eldorado. Oh. Yeah, I think I prefer. Oh, now there's a little bit of a. Yeah, there's some strawberry laces going on in there. That strawberry kind of licorice, bit of sherbet. Definitely that kind of sort of, yeah, kind of orange, sort of orange citrus note going on. I guess from the Yuzu. Kind of Yuzu, I think, is an Asian kind of orange flavour. A little bit of zestiness in there, but yeah, mostly that kind of slightly acidic kind of orange note, which is odd to go with strawberries, really. It just makes it kind of tartar and more dank. There's not a lot of dankness in it. It's all about the strawberry. Again, I'm finding it difficult to get through quickly, and I do like to get through them quickly on this stream, so I can get through to the main event and the next one. And I really struggle getting through sours. During that time, I did 3 sours in a row. That was horrific. What is the appeal of a sour IPA or double IPA? I don't know, because for me, it's just a sour. There isn't any IPA notes in this particularly. There's no real hop note because it's overawed by the strawberry, and that's overawed a little bit by the orange on the edges. Had lemonade. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'm actually out of lemonade at the moment. I didn't pick any more up, stupidly. But yeah, I don't know what would be. You tell me, what is the appeal of a sour IPA? I've had a couple, and because I find some sours I find hard to drink but interesting to try. This one is nice, but I don't want more than half of it because I sort of struggle to get through it quickly, and I'm always looking forward to getting through it to get the next beer. I think flavour wise, I prefer the pastry notes of that Brew York, to be honest. Sour IPAs to me hold little appeal because it's a combination of two beers that, when done right and sit on my palate, are brilliant. So I've had plenty of sours that are really, really good, and I can just smash down. But when they're a bit more testing and taxing like this one is, and also I find double IPAs and IPAs can be taxing if the hop lineup doesn't suit my palate. I'd like to try. I probably should try just an IPA or double IPA just with the hop lineup and see where that difference lies. I suspect it's a very different beer without the strawberry going on. Did I say there was? See, it doesn't list ingredients, it lists allergens. So it doesn't say particularly what the strawberry is. It's probably not fresh strawberry, obviously. Probably a bit of pulp. And again, can't really find, as I said the other day, or yesterday, I want more information going on. Sour beer is sour beer. Yeah, this is a sour beer. It's not really an IPA particularly. Mr. Wilson, greetings. Thanks for popping in. Hope you're having a good week, and indeed a beer if you've got one going on. Possibly a mistake to smash 2 sours together, but it's sort of a case of needs must because they fit in with the name. I just found 3 beers with names in them. I've done Johnny and Jane, and there's what come. Smashing beers together. Oh, that's interesting. Let's try that, shall we? Let's try smashing beers together. Let's cuvee. That should be like a let's cuvee. See if that makes any difference. So, strawberry and yuzu with guava and cherry. Hopefully equal measure. That makes that one easy drinking. Gets even more kind of murky, slightly brown edge. Still plenty of fruit notes, even on my nose. 2 sours, why not? Let's try. Interesting. That's weird. That pastry note makes this one much easier to drink for me. It's got that kind of, yeah, so I've now got a pastry sour double IPA. If you're freaking at sour double IPA, I've now got a pastry sour double IPA. It makes it easier to drink for me. I think I prefer the Brew York one, oddly. Just for ease of drinking, it's a little bit more smoother, a bit more rounded. Strawberries and cherry work pretty well together. I'm still not sure about guava. It's also on a nice black IPA from Thornbridge called Wild Raven. Fair play. Still, jury's out with me on black IPAs, but undoubtedly quality from Thornbridge. Yeah. Yeah, I like the pastry note. So the pastry note for the Brew York just makes it easier to drink. It's a bit more like a tart or a flan. I really just wanted some squirty cream on this rather than lemonade. Because I like it. I like the fruit notes. I just don't care that much for that kind of tart, fruity background, and then that kind of sour, slightly acidic from the yuzu. It just makes it harder to drink for me. They're good beers. I think sours are sort of a bit more. It's not easier to do because it's an extra step, sour in the beer, but it just covers a lot of things because it's essentially off beer with the yeast involved, depending on how you do it. But yeah, so it covers a lot of eventualities. So you bung a bunch of fruit in it to kind of cover that off flavour, the controlled off flavour. So I struggle a little bit with sours. Double IPA ABV might be playing with your senses. Well, my senses are bollocks and banjacks. Anyway, can't breathe, can't sniff. Sorry, can't sniff the beer, smell the aroma that well. Also, I'm struggling to knock it back. I'm not particularly struggling to get through it. It's nice enough. It's not one I can drink quickly, which is not good for a live beer stream. I kind of want to get through it and onto the next one, whilst also having enough to say, yeah, I think you're right. Beer number 3, please. Trouble is, once I go beer number 3, finishing off those sours are going to be very difficult. I might just chuck it all together. Kind of going to need to clear the palate, and I don't think a little bit of water is going to clear the palate enough. Yeah, so a beer number 3 is a completely different trajectory, both geographically. In fact, I'm coming south. I'm coming down the country. Started in Yorkshire. That's Manchester. Even though I mentioned Cornwall earlier, I'm now going to Cornwall with beer number 3. It's from Goodh Brewing. Or is it Good H? Is how you pronounce it. As you can possibly see from the can art, it's a coffee stout, 5.8%, which is a complete departure from obviously those sours. And this one has been sitting in my stash for far too long, so I don't know what we're going to get out of this, but let's get it in a glass and find out. Ooh, yeah. Well, it didn't explode everywhere, so not too bad. Probably poured that a bit too much, a bit too lively. Going to slow it down a little bit because there's massive development on that. And that is because it's been sitting in my stash a bit too long. But nice creamy brownish looking head. So not too bad. Let's wait for that to dissipate a little bit. In fact, it's probably good that I'll do that and then finish off these two whilst I'm going. So we'll get onto the can balance in a minute. I'm going to wait for that head to go down a little bit. I don't want it to be scooping out. It will dissipate, but not massively. Yeah, so Goodh H Brewing. I think it's good. I'm not quite sure. Jury's out how to pronounce it. I'm sure on their website, I'll have a look in a minute. They just say it's good. Down in Cornwall, they are, I believe, Red Roof. And yeah, I again picked them up. This might even be a beer from last year, you know, because I think I did them in January. They had a beer called Sandcastle Disco. So I also picked up a bunch of their other beers because another brewery that's got so many decent beers. But I had to decide which ones not to get, and I haven't been back to look at the others. They also have on their website a bunch of beers from Skinner's. They brought out Skinner's down in Cornwall, Betty Stoggs and all that stuff. So that was one I looked at. So reviewed all the other beers off for this one. This one, I don't know why, it's just sort of been kept aside for some reason. I never quite worked out where it sits or going into it. Coffee Stout's another one. Can be difficult for me anyway. Coffee. I love a bit of coffee in the morning. I love a bit of coffee in the beer. But when you start adding coffee, I find it can be a little bit difficult for various reasons. But let's see what we get out of this. It's looking quite good so far. As I say, it's been sitting in my stash a bit too long, so it's quite lively head development there. But it's looking quite nice and dark and kind of coffee stout like on the pour. Touch thin, but that's just me being overly critical. Let's have a look what's on the side of it. Doesn't seem a lot on there. Definitely got coffee on it. True postcode. Oh, here we go. Best before end. That's handy. I didn't have to turn it up. It's actually printed on the 1st of June 2024. So very little else. I thought it was a collab initially, but that's just blatantly ripping off Starbucks, isn't it? Or pretending to be vaguely somewhere near Starbucks. Yeah, ingredients: oats, wheat, hops, yeast, coffee, etc. Well, that's kind of all the info we need, really. Brewed in Cornwall and the best before. So, yeah, well out of date. Doesn't look too bad on it. Might have over poured. Let's do the photo. So yeah, it's called Joe. Don't know why. Where's Mr. Edibles when you need him? So for a white can, that kind of doesn't go too bad on the light. Yeah, nice and simple on the can up. Shows the brewery name, the beer name, the beer style on the ABV. Works for me. Photographs pretty well, so happy with that. It's the can balance. Thank you very much, as always, Mr. Wilson, for the reminder. Cup of Joe is a slang term for coffee. Well, I must say I don't think I've ever heard that. Fair play. Is that rhyming slang? Or just general? I don't know. I've never heard that one, to be honest. Cup of Joe. Fair play. See, like I always say, beer's educational. Educated about slang and stuff. Well, this one's going to be difficult because I haven't successfully got that fruit note from the sours out my mouth. Mostly because I've still been necking them whilst I wait for that to settle. Let's have a go with this one. See what 4 or 5 month out of date, nominally out of date stout, coffee stout from Cornwall tastes like. I think it'll be alright. Could have done white cans. Could have done a white can wrap. Anyway, yeah. Cheers. Yeah, there's some dark malts going on there. A cup of Joey's black coffee. Yeah. Never heard for either coffee, but fair play. I don't disbelieve you. I'll take that. Do you know what's going to happen now? I'm going to start seeing that reference all about the place. That's what happens. Suddenly somebody will mention it tomorrow. I've not seen it in 40 odd years. But there you go. Cheers. That's all right. Yeah. It does feel a little bit. Yeah, it feels like it has suffered slightly for sitting in my stash for probably the best part of a year. I think I bought it before Christmas, so it does feel like it's been there a little while. That's no slight on the brewery. That's not their fault. That's my bad. You know what I mean? But still, it's plenty carved. Stripping down the can. So yeah, quite a solid stout note. It's more kind of it's like a burnt toast note. There's a kind of yeah, it's a fairly dark coffee, espresso maybe, but it's sort of. I think it has lost slightly. You know, ABVs. Let's say ABVs. Best befores are kind of nominal. It shouldn't lose that much. So, yeah, there's no strong coffee note apart from the hints of espresso. I think it has. Unusually, I think it has lost a little bit on the malt note for 5-6 months, maybe. It's not thin, particularly. It's got some good body to it. But there's not a massive coffee note. It's just sort of there. It's mostly kind of really dark coffee, bittery chocolate, and kind of slight espresso note. It's not bad. It's one I'd sit and sip long, I think. Yeah, I think that's what it is, and it's like it's basically a hop in the middle with some, I guess, hop leaves around the edge. So it's kind of a sort of Starbucksy nod. Anytime you'll find me drinking anything Starbucksy, by the way. As far as I can remember, I've only been into Starbucks twice. Once in this country and once in New Zealand. For no good reason, just needed a coffee. It was early in the morning, I believe. I thought I needed a coffee. Nobody needs coffee that much. It's a luxury, not a necessity. I changed my mind. But yeah, I enjoyed all the other Good H brews. I keep calling them Good H because that's what it looks like to me rather than Gouda. So I enjoyed all the other ones I had. This one, I think I suffered a little bit from sitting in my stash like that, but what can you do? Apart from drink the beers disco, that's what you can do, and not have them sit around for so long. I've got a bunch of others that have sat around far too long, and I'm going to try and bash them out. I think the theme should be Bender in November or Bender in December rather than November because I've just got so many beers and I keep buying more. But that's my bad. What can you do? Yeah, so much so that it doesn't really feel 5.8%. That's more of a 4% stout at the moment because I think it's dropped a little. No off flavors, don't get me wrong. There's nothing bad about it. It just does feel like it's lost a little strength along the way, a little malt flavor along the way. It's very, very light on the coffee flavor, but it also does feel like it was a bit more solid, fresher, which is unusual for a stout because stouts do kind of carry. Like, there's not a massive hop note for the hop note to fade. It's all about the malt, but it feels a bit like the malt has faded slightly. Or maybe it was never there. I don't know. That's really harsh on Goodh because all the other beers I had were really good. So there's no reason to suspect that this wasn't or isn't. Nice creamy head stays. Feels like a coffee cream kind of crema kind of note. There's a little bit of a spoonful of brown sugar there now as well, a little bit, which again feels like it's dissipated over the months, which again is harsh. It's just my fault. Yeah, good stuff. I haven't not enjoyed these three beers. I think yesterday's beers I enjoyed a lot more. Maybe they were more of a surprise. Those three up there, can you see them? Yeah, there's yesterday's beers. Whereas these beers have been not disappointing, just intriguing, different, harder to get through. Certainly those sours. I still put the carbonation on all of them, so I'm still burping away. This one is, yeah, I guess my fault for leaving it for so long. But there you go. That's my three beers under the theme of beers with names in. Do let me know if you see any other beers with names in, especially your name. I do like finding beers with people's names in that I actually know. In fact, Joe I actually got for somebody I know called Joe, not Joey Edibles. Of course, we all know a Johnny, and I can think of James. But yeah, I do like finding like I had one from Shore Shop. My other Shore Shop beer was called Dawn, and I've still got one to. Oh, hang on, what happened there? Right, maybe that's a cue. Maybe that's a cue. So yeah, I've had three good beers. I've been waiting on for over an hour. I'm going to sit back and think about this one. Go back to that sour in the meantime. Massive thanks to all of you for joining in. I think the best one for me is probably the Brew York, even though it took me a while to drink. It should be this one, but because of that length of time, I think my favourite tonight was probably the Brew York because of that pastry note. Still quite difficult to get through in any kind of time. Only ever do one day try to promote it. Yeah, I think two sours together was possibly a mistake, but I fitted in with the theme and I didn't have any other beers in the theme, so I thought I'd do them together. And I thought maybe the Pomona Island was more towards double IPA sour, but alas, I was wrong. I'm really interested to try it just because of that sour double IPA thing. So I think you'd quite like it, to be honest. But yeah, cheers all for popping in and your comments. If you're watching after the event, please don't forget to click the like and subscribe. If you haven't already, drop me some comments in the comments below. Even if it's just disco, you're a dickhead because the algorithm loves it. I don't care. I'm a dickhead. Well, I think the stream proves that, to be fair. So if I get it sorted in the morning, I'll try and put another stream up tomorrow. If I get time, if we're brewing and we run over and I don't get time, I'll probably cancel it. But if I get it up in the morning, I'll see you tomorrow, probably same time, 9 o'clock, for some beers. I think, yeah, some local beers for local people, picked up from local-ish, not always local, bottle shops that I'll talk about as well. And then might do one on Thursday if I can get it sorted. Got some beers arriving tomorrow for it. So yeah, thank you very much indeed. I'm in Disco of Just Disco Beer Reviews, coming at you with more live beer reviews from in front of the cans and bottles here at what I am still naming the Disco Obs. You've been brilliant. Join me for some more beers next time. And bear with me whilst I find the outro. And until then, do enjoy the beer. Cheers. Have a good one.